Welcome to the Weekly Dose of Stars. I'm your host, Graham Breitenstein, a professional dancer and movement coach for icons like, Idina Menzel, Lady Gaga, Meghan Trainor, just to name a few, turned professional astrologer, certified oracle card reader, and founder of Drunk Astrology. Each week on this podcast, I'm breaking down the astrological transits that need to be on your radar so you know exactly what energy to tap into and what opportunities to take advantage of in order to achieve your biggest goals, your juiciest manifestations, all while consciously co-creating your life with Team Uni. That's my affectionate pet name for the universe. So get ready. You're about to align your actions, dreams, and biggest manifestations with this week's Dose of Stars. Hello and happy Monday, Astro Lover. It is the week of March 9th through the 15th, 2026, and we just keep rocking and rolling through Eclipse season, through Mercury Retrograde, and now, as of this week, Jupiter, the gift giver planet of them all, finally ending its months-long retrograde and stationing direct. So that is the main planetary highlight of this week, and we will, of course, be talking about it. Now, as of today, we are in our first full day of the new daylight savings kind of vibe. So hello, longer daylight, and hello, earlier, right? Yeah, earlier sunshine. I believe that's what's going on because anytime my sleep mask falls off my face, I am definitely awakened earlier with the bright-ass light of the sun, which no complaints. The sleep mask, though, it's been fixed. Don't worry. And we are also fresh off of Venus entering Aries over the weekend, having those conjunctions to Neptune and Saturn. Such powerful opportunities over the weekend to connect, make dream alliances and partnerships, and of course, be bold, take action, right? The energy of the fire horse, the energy of Neptune and Saturn and Aries, all of this is full-fledged, full steam ahead with the disclaimer that burnout is it can be a repercussion with all of this fiery yang energy in the cosmos. So you want to be mindful of over-committing and under-delivering. That's a message that will carry through all 2026 long while we're in the fire horse. And even beyond that, with Neptune and Saturn being in Aries for the next several years. So we are asked to be more assertive. We are asked to be the leaders of our lives. We are asked to make uncomfortable decisions in order to achieve what we're trying to achieve. But we also have to remember that along the way, the opposite of yang is yin. We need rest. We need recovery. And we need to prioritize that in energy like this, because this is more frenetic energy. So we're already, and definitely based on all of the calls I've had recently, whether it's in an astrology coaching session or in an oracle reading that I had last week, like there is a lot of action-oriented energy around. Do I take this action or do I take this? Do I do nothing? A lot of it is centered around making these decisions of will I go, will I stay, and sometimes, riding the in-between until, it's inevitable or it's impossible to ignore. So one of the things that I just want to share in a week like this, where eclipses are still bringing that sense of urgency. And sometimes, now this is completely dependent on your current circumstances, but sometimes that urgency is a false sense. So there can be this internal, like, it has to happen now, it has to happen now. And it doesn't necessarily have to, right? But the feeling is that, of course, Mercury retrograde is scrambling signals. The mouthpiece of the zodiac is dunked underwater in Pisces while he's retrograde. So we're not necessarily thinking straight. We're thinking more from an emotional lens. We're thinking more from a sensitive, nostalgic lens. There's a lot of yearning I'm seeing just kind of floating around the ethers, like a yearning for something that's not really clear, right? There's a little bit of clouds, there's a little bit of fog, there's a little bit of delulu, confusion, kind of blanketed over a lot of people and a lot of situations, just in things that I hear from clients, things that I hear kind of in passing when I'm working at a coffee shop. So just know, like, if that's your current experience, you're not alone. And one of the things that that's very indicative of Mercury and a water sign in general is like really having intense feelings. Especially in Pisces, we're talking about letting go, moving on, purifying yourself from the inside out, cleansing out toxicity, however it shows up, however it's relevant to you. There can be like this inner resistance, but there can also be this isolation. So I just want you to know, if you find yourself having any of these feelings, that you are not alone. No one's immune to this. This is universal energy we're talking about. And so just know that this week and next week are the last 2 weeks of Mercury's retrograde, but that's just the chapter 2, right? So we'll have all the data we need from chapters 1 and 2. And currently in chapter 2, we're talking about the F around and find out era, which is really centered around experimenting and exploring variety, not bottlenecking yourself or not forcing yourself to choose one thing as the right thing and the only thing possible. There are multiples that are available to you, whatever your circumstances are, wherever you kind of feel all of this energy happening. And that's one of the best things about a birth chart reading, is you can really understand what areas of your life and your chart are being erupted by the eclipses, because we have the North Node in Pisces, so it's very close to Mercury retrograde. In fact, the whole retrograde kicked off. Chapter 1 kicked off with Mercury and a conjunction to the North Node, right? So there's this like storytelling energy, but there's also this learning energy, this kind of like you gotta trip and fall along the way energy to this entire Mercury retrograde. So we're talking from February 12th through April 9th, this kind of learning through sharing, learning through speaking and communicating, and of course, going back to certain scenarios, memories, people, and like reconnecting. And that North Node is then ramped up with acceleration due to the eclipses. So just lots of energy already that you've been swirling with, and it continues. Okay, so even though this week is light on the planetary energy, like overall, we do have the first 3 days. The first half of the week has a lot of planetary action, and then we kind of mellow out in the back half of the week. But Mercury retrograde is still making its chapter 2 connections to planets that it already connected with in chapter 1. So more information to your Mercury retrograde story is destined to unfold, to develop more. The story will develop further. So your job is to remain curious. And if you want to get more specifically connected to your personal story, that's when working with your birth chart getting a reading, that kind of a thing. That's what's going to really bring your whole story, your whole experience together, especially in the months of February and March together. Now, with the eclipse of it all, this week we do have the Sagittarius fourth quarter moon. Now, there is all kinds of manifesting magic that I'll be sharing with my moon phase manifestors when it comes to this, but just think of this quarter moon on Wednesday as the midpoint between last week's Virgo full moon lunar eclipse and next week's Pisces new moon, right? So with Sagittarius, you've got to think big picture. So this week, as you move, just keep thinking top of mind, what's my big picture? Sometimes the moves you have to make in honor of your big picture are uncomfortable. Sometimes they are out of your comfort zone. Sometimes it requires expansion, learning, teaching, leading, traveling even. So it's really just in your story dependent on what steps are necessary to achieve your bigger picture vision, your bigger picture goals, or maybe for some, it's determining what your big picture is, right? What's your next milestone moment? It's a really big cosmic conversation to have this week, is really like zoom out of your day-to-day rhythm and go, what are all my little micro actions leading me to? Are they leading you anywhere? Are they intentional? And if not, this could be a really good redirect, reset your course accordingly so that you start being way more conscious and way more intentional and align your mindset with the mindset of the end goal, right? So if I want to be a Oscar-winning actor, then I might have to sit and go like, okay, what kind of mindset does it take for someone to achieve that accolade, to receive that recognition? So the same goes for you though, or if I want to be a gold medal master swimmer on the U.S. Master Swim team, what mindsets, what focus drills might the swimmer who's winning gold at the U.S. Master Swim meets, what are they focused on? How are they practicing, etc. And then I'm going to shift my current plan, or I'm going to shift my current how I'm showing up to practice every night. Make sense? I'm going to assume that you say yes. So the thing, though, that we want to talk about today is that Jupiter, the planet of growth and expansion, abundance, good luck, prosperity, learning, teaching, and traveling, of course, and entrepreneurship, is stationing direct on Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Pacific. And for my astro nerds, this station is taking place at 15 degrees and 5 minutes of Cancer. And so if you look at your chart, you can kind of see where Jupiter is stationing direct, meaning it's moving forward, which means that for the past several months, it's been moving retrograde. It has been powered down a little bit. Not that you can't grow and expand and have good luck and learn things, but it was more of like an internal growth process. And for your knowledge, Jupiter has been retrograde since November 11th of 2025. Okay, so we've got November, December, January, February, and now on March 10th, Jupiter, the king of the zodiac, the biggest planet up there, is now going to be moving forward, which really supercharges all of those Jupiter themes: growth, expansion, abundance, prosperity, good luck, learning, teaching, traveling. Okay, so what I thought I would just do is just kind of do some general broad stroke kind of astrology and share where you might have been feeling this kind of like slow down, this more internally, this internal growth factor, right? Because it's not that it's, you haven't been able to experience all of these great Jupiter themes, but it's more like, okay, this goes the pace at which it happens kind of slows down. It's way more intentional, requires a little bit more effort to activate. But now, as of Tuesday this week, it really moves forward. So I thought I would just kind of, do a little broad strokes here. So for the fire signs, the Aries, Leo, and Sagittarians, this has been way more about your emotional body, like growing on the emotional front. This has been way more internal and way more watery, introspective. You might have even, found that you've been running a little bit more emotional than you're used to. But there's been growth in the cleansing, the growth in the purging, growth in ending patterns and cycles, growth in releasing and letting go, releasing your grip and just going, you know what? I have done all I can, right? And just kind of a peaceful surrender. And definitely big on a call to, these past few months have been a call towards your spiritual practices. And so that's what Jupiter's been doing with the fire signs. Now for the earth signs, we're talking to Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. This has been all about your relationships, all of it, okay? We're talking about your inner circle, your best friends, your partners, romantic and business, of course, and your community, like really like growing in community, cultivating genuine community, giving back in a way. Jupiter has been powered down in terms of your relationships. And it's so funny because Mercury retrograde has really kind of stepped in my own life and really like brought back the friendships that like had kind of like not fallen by the wayside, but just, life has been lifing and nobody's immune, right? I'm not immune to any of this. So it's been a really like beautifully healing journey, as Mercury retrograde in Pisces definitely can do. Like I love Mercury retrograde when it comes to these like cleansing, healing moments, right? Like one of my best friends who I haven't talked to genuinely in like 2.5 months, like we last week connected for over 2 hours and just like had the best conversation and really just like, it was just like a renewal. And it was like a spiritual bath and like a soul hug that was so needed and so great. So earth signs, just know that this Jupiter moving forward is really going to like activate your closest interpersonal relationships, and growth is going to be real and growth is going to come faster, amplified by eclipses and of course officially turning around when Mercury stations retrograde at the end of next week. Air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, Jupiter has been powered down in your work and your money generating houses. So this has been a lot about the work you do, the money you make, your day-to-day scheduling, your organization, cleaning up clutter, and of course, like your legacy work. The infrastructure of your business or of your career, of your day-to-day, right? So Jupiter's been asking you these past several months to really like mindfully put things in place to support you. Because now this week when Jupiter stations, like things are probably going to pick up now, right? Money and income and work, all of those things are likely going to increase, which, hello, good for you. We love that. That can also be true for the fire signs as well. Money. Not that the earth and water signs aren't going to like benefit too, but you all have fire and air signs really have that like promising money-making kind of an energy going on. So good, yay for you. And last but not least, water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. This has so much to do about your own spotlight. And you really taking the reins of your life. Hello, you're the fire horse. And really just setting sail and really saying, I'm ready. and come see me roar, come hear me roar. You've got a lot to share. You've got a lot of creativity to share, a lot of love to share, a lot of growth. Some of you are being asked to really step into leadership positions like business, entrepreneurial endeavors, and ultimately really put a strategy in place for your own growth journey. Okay, that's really what the water signs have a big gift for with this Jupiter retrograde. Of course, the last few months, maybe you've been a little bit more like quiet with it, quiet, a little introspective, maybe a couple of efforts here and there. But now with Jupiter stationing this week, the water signs are really being asked to like show up in a really big way, be seen, be heard, and basically just embody that like, I'm effing around, I'm finding out, and you're welcome. So, since we've discussed that, the last thing we have to do is just talk about Monday's energy, which we begin the week with the moon in Scorpio, but she goes void at 4:28 a.m. Pacific with an opposition to Uranus. So there is kind of like an unexpected surprise, an unexpected like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing. It's a shift, it's a change, it's a wake-up call. And that's how we kick off the week. But the moon at 8:37 a.m. Pacific enters Sagittarius, a sign the moon loves to be in. So we leave the like deep Scorpio swamp investing energy and we enter the optimistic, happy, joyful energy of Sagittarius, which is the sign that Jupiter rules. So hello, we have Jupiter all over the first half of this week. So all of those juicy Jupiterian growth, expansion, abundance energies just all over. So if you're looking to make a move that is very supported by the universe, today, the first few days of this week are definitely the days to do so. Sagittarius, again, is the sign of travel. And I will say, I am stoked that spots at the Raise Your Vibe 2026 retreat in the Outer Banks are filling up. So just know the Raise Your Vibe retreat is going down September 30th through October 4th in the Outer Banks. I have a few rooms left. We've got roommate vibes spots and we have communal vibe spots. So if you were thinking about coming to this year's Raise Your Vibe retreat, where you're going to learn how to really decode your birth chart and like know how to work with it, really know how to hear the daily doses, hear the weekly doses, and know how the energy is applicable to your chart and your life. That's what we do. I kind of get you in your own like baby astrologer seat, right? So you can go like, oh, okay, Jupiter is stationing direct in Cancer. Okay, that activates my 11th house, which is community and friendships. This is my time to grow my presence online, right? You be able to have that language at the end of the retreat, which means that you get to just carry that forward for the rest of your life. It's an amazing experience. We've got already a really great group coming together. We're already in WhatsApp chatting. So that's the Drunk Astrology invite with all of this juicy Jupiter energy and the moon in Sagittarius on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Like, travel's the name of the game, expanding your mind, learning something new, like a new skill, a new language with astrology, especially because it's all about you and your astrology. That's what we do there. That's how we raise your vibe. And we also have a shitload of fun. So when the moon enters Sag, that's a little aside. When the moon enters Sag, she has trines to Neptune and Saturn and Venus, a sextile to Pluto, and a square to Mars. You hear all of that easy, flowy energy, trine to Neptune and Saturn, like just growth, great, dream structure, dream mentor, dream coach, dream structure, yep, dream partnerships, dream relationships, yep. Exciting growth, like on a soul level, yes. And then the square to Mars, which is 8:37 p.m., that's where like there's a call to action, right? There's a like, okay, the square is like, okay, I'm going to do this, and the square just is like, okay, once I do X, right? Because Moon and Sag is so optimistic and so forward moving, and the square to Mars is like, okay, yeah, like the match. And last but not least, Venus, the planet of love, relationships, partnerships, money, and desire, has a sextile to Pluto at 11:52 p.m. Pacific on Monday. And that is exciting growth opportunities from the inside out, right? Soul level connections, very exciting. Like if you're gonna like set up a first date, this is very exciting energy in that vein. And we can't have a podcast where we don't end with a bad bitch affirmation. And let's just see what we've got. Be a unicorn, not a twatopus. We all have those days we feel like being a little down. But suck it up, Buttercup. No one likes a twatopus. Be the damn unicorn you were born to be. Now repeat after me. I am a unicorn, not a twatopus. Have a great week ahead. Have a great Monday. I cannot wait to just do more of this with you. I'm so excited. Can't wait to see who all like just comes to Raise Your Vibe, who just uses all of this energy to genuinely make an impact in your life and the people around you. Like that's what it's best used for. That's what I'm here to help you use it for. So let's cheers to that, and let's all have a great freaking week. Bye. Astro lover, did you love this week's astro forecast? Well, just wait until you're inside the daily dose of stars. Right now, you're waking up and feeling pulled in a million directions. You're buzzing with anxiety about your new meeting. You're doom scrolling for 30 minutes before you even leave the bed. You're overwhelmed by news headlines, decisions about deadlines at work, and constantly distracted, which, of course, leaves you feeling off, unmotivated, and stuck in a loop of doing a million things but getting nowhere. My friend, this is because you haven't checked the daily energetic weather report. Riddle me this. Would you ever take a trip to Europe or go camping without checking the actual weather? Hell no. So why are you going through life without checking the energy for the day ahead? The Daily Dose of Stars gives you bite-sized astrological guidance every single morning, so you know exactly what energy you're working with, exactly what to avoid, and what moves to make in order to activate the opportunities that are available for you to seize. So no more guessing, no more chaos, no more feeling pulled in a million directions and saying, what the hell is in the air right now? You'll know exactly what's in the air, and you'll also know exactly what the actual F to do with it every friggin' day. So when you're ready to start co-creating your best life with the universal energy in real time, hop inside the Daily Dose of Stars. The link to subscribe is in the show notes below. Simply scroll down and tap the link. I'll see you there.